Hey, what's up? I'm Josh and I'm at the climbing gym, and in front of me, behind you, is a bench press. I'm gonna be trying to answer the age-old question, how much can a rock climber bench? Surprisingly, I've been asked that a lot. How much can you bench? How much should a climber bench? And here's the answer. A climber doesn't really need to bench at all to be really good at climbing. I know a bunch of comp kids who are climbing like V12 outside who have never touched a bench press in their life. I'm gonna share my thoughts with you about bench press, even about cross training, and then I'm gonna see how much I can bench. So I'm gonna get an extensive warm up in with some dumbbells, some bands, and then a long progression up to any sort of heavy thing, because the last thing I wanna do is get injured. I've seen too many videos of people blowing up their pecs. I don't wanna do that. I also have these rails, so if I fail, then it lands on the rails. Also, I'm not using clips, because then if I do fail, I can kind of lean to one side, all the weights are gonna fly off, and then it'll fling off. But I'd rather that happen than me die. I don't have a spotter today. Our camera woman, McKenna, is sleeping. It's kind of early in the morning. Okay, so my thoughts on bench press. I think it's unnecessary for climbers, and here's why. Usually when I think of bench press, I think of those like boulder bros. I'm a wannabe boulder bro, so once in a while I bench press. Not very often. Most of the time I use dumbbells or just do like a simple push-up. And I think it's necessary to train those antithesis muscles. So a lot of times in climbing you're doing a ton of pulling, but not a ton of pushing. And the reason that I started doing that, a lot of more pushing, adding bench press and push-ups mostly into my cross-training routine, is that I noticed in a lot of mantles and some different press moves in climbing, I felt really weak. So I wanted to train my shoulders a little bit more, I wanted to train my triceps a little bit more, and of course, my chest. Plus, when you bench press a ton, it makes you look good a little bit. And that helps my ego. If you look good, you climb good. I don't know, it's probably not the best advice. Anyway, bench press. Those are my thoughts on bench press. It's unnecessary, but let's see how much I can bench. Like I had mentioned, I did an extensive warm up, so I'm gonna start with 135 and just add 10 pounds each side after I do a couple sets. I'll write the actual warm up progression in the description below. And tell me what your experience is about bench press and doing some cross training. I do legs, I do squat sometimes, and a lot of lunges and stuff like that, because I noticed pistol squats are important on slab. Anyway, let's move on. Bench. That was 135 pounds. It felt really chill. If you know a lot about bench, I'd love to hear your thoughts on my form. I'm trying to keep my elbows in. That's one of the important things for injury mitigation, at least from what Reddit has said. Keep those elbows in, kind of closer to your body. If they start bowing out, that's a recipe for injury, apparently. So that was 135. For people who aren't in the US, that's what, 20, 40, 60 kilos-ish, plus or minus a couple pounds. I think this is a 20 kilo bar, which is funny, because it's 20 kilo bar, 45 pound weights. Okay, let's go up. 155. Honestly, I didn't notice much of a difference from 135 to 155. But I'm sure that tune's gonna change as I go up in weight. So I do a lot of cross training, because for me, I notice that if I climb any more than 3 or 4 times a week, my grip it's terrible. My nervous system is shot, and doing some cross training has helped that. Not necessarily helped my nervous system a ton, but it's kind of helped my brain, because I feel like I need to do something. And doing some cross training, like going on a run or doing a bike ride or something like that, is really helpful for me, at least, and definitely helpful somewhat. It translates a little bit on the wall depending on which movement. Like I said, I have noticed a difference incorporating some pushing into my cross-training routine. I've noticed a difference on the wall, especially on some vert angles, doing some presses, mantles, and stuff like that. All right, let's move up. I'm moving up to 185. I just didn't notice that big of a difference between 135 and 155, so I'm going up 15 pounds on each side, so 30 pounds total. So this is 185. My goal today, anything over like 225, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 kilos, anything over 100 kilos would be awesome. This is just like a flat back bench, so I know that there's a difference between flat back and incline bench, but today we're just doing flat back. I'm not really interested in doing both. So we'll see how 185 feels, and then anything over 225, anything over 100 kilos would be awesome. Let's hit it. It felt good. Definitely noticed a weight difference. I wonder if that was too big of a jump for me. Either way, we are where we are. It is what it is. So I'm gonna go up another, I don't know, 10 pounds on each side, I suppose. So this is 205. I feel like 205 is impressive. I don't know what an actual impressive bench press would be, but this is more than my body weight. Right now I'm weighing about 80 kilos, 175, 180 pounds-ish, plus or minus 5 pounds, depending on when I pooped or not, or how much I've eaten the day before. So 205, I would consider this a success. So let's talk about the type of training that I've done for press movements. I do incorporate the bench press, just flat back bench, sometimes incline once in a blue moon. I don't usually do heavy weight like this. I would consider this heavy weight for myself. I kind of follow like a 4x10 or like a 4x12 on bench press, and usually that looks like 135 4x10. And I know I can do more, but it's one of those things, just because you can do more, yikes, that was loud. Just because you can do more doesn't mean you should do more. Maybe, maybe not. Again, it just depends on what your goals are. If you're a bodybuilder or a power lifter, then sure, do that progressive overload kind of thing. But for me, I'm just trying to go through the range of motion, teaching my body that pushing is part of my daily movement, or part of my regular movement, I suppose. And so incorporating it in like that is important to me, because I don't really care about what I can do here. I care about what I can do on the climbing wall, if that makes any sense. So I've been doing sets of 8. I'm gonna drop it down to a set of 6, because this, 200 pounds, I mean, that's heavy. Yeah, it felt heavy. I've noticed that as I get heavier, my reps are getting slower. I don't know if that's good or bad. More time under tension maybe, but also it's just heavier and it's more strenuous for me to do, so that makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm gonna hit 225, no problem, just based off of how 205 felt. I've been jumping in increments of 10 or 20 pounds or so, and if my previous jumps are indication, 225 should feel okay. Also, I have been taking about 60 to 120 seconds in between each of my sets. I know that is nowhere near full recovery, but I'm kind of on a time crunch here. So hopefully this is some kind of representation of my actual bench max. This is 225, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 kilos. I'm so sorry to everybody who's not in the US that I have to count in 20s. Not a visual memory guy, I guess, I don't know. Also, if you're curious about how strong my climbing is or how experienced I am in climbing, I recommend you check out my shorts, my YouTube shorts, and you can kind of see and get a decent idea of what I can and can't climb. Take whatever idea you get based off of those shorts and then reduce me a little bit, because I also, post my sins. I usually don't post my falls. 100 kilos, 225 pounds. Let's hit it. I'm gonna go for a set of 2. It felt good. it felt heavy. We're gonna keep going up. Also, I raised these rails a little bit and it's almost exactly where my chest is. And when I bounced the bar off my chest, you know, not bouncing it a lot, but just touching the chest and going back up, I think it hit one of these bars. I did raise these because my biggest fear is failing and having this drop on my chest and me dying. I don't want that to happen. I guess we just go up another 10. If you have no interest in bench press, but you're interested in doing some kind of pushing motion, I recommend push-ups. You can do them anywhere, you don't need any equipment, and in my opinion, when it relates to climbing, I think it does a very similar thing to a bench press, because again, in my experience, I haven't needed to go really heavy on bench press. I just want to go through the range of motion, and again, teach my body that pushing is what I can do. Like I can do that, and I'm gonna need those muscles. And it's kind of the same thing for a lot of other movements. Like I do squat, like back squats sometimes, pistol squats, goblet squats a lot, because I'm just training my legs like, hey, you need to work and you need to do something. And it does translate a lot onto the wall. I've noticed that there's a lot of really balancy moves that if you're able to pressure your legs well, it's a lot easier than if you weren't able to do so. Plus, doing a pistol squat on the climbing wall is sick. It's really cool, it's really fun. Really hard, but had to train for that. Kind of reminds me of like a one-arm pull-up. I wouldn't naturally be able to do just a pistol squat. Same thing, I wouldn't naturally be able to do a one-arm pull-up. And you can get away without doing either of those your entire life and still be a really good climber. But if you train them, it can benefit your climbing. So that's just my thought. This is all just extra frosting on the cake. Like my goal was 225, I hit the goal. Now we're going to adjust my goal. 225 felt really good. If I can do 275, that would be really good, in my opinion. I'm not trying to break any records here, but I feel like that would be good in my own personal goals. Okay, let's do it. I don't know how that looked on camera, but it felt really slow and it felt really hard, especially that second rep. The first rep felt really smooth, second rep felt hard, so. All right, let's go up and weight again. If you're gonna bench, I 1000% recommend that you have like a spotter, because it is kind of scary. I know I have these, and I know I don't have the clamps on the side, so I have multiple ways that I won't die, but a third would be much better, more peace of mind. Okay, I took longer in between that set and this set because my chest is super pumped. Also went and got climbing chalk because my hands are getting really sweaty and it's kind of gross. I also reviewed some of the footage and I look like a crazy person. So I 1000% acknowledge that. It's early in the morning, I'm having a bad hair day. It's okay. All right, let's do this. Oh yeah. That has got to be really close to the max because that felt really hard. Also, I put on chalk, but there was still like a layer of grime on my hands. It was like sliding. I was like, oh no. Also, one of my feet like popped out for a second. I was like, oh, weird. I've seen a lot of people bench press with their feet on the bench. I was like, that's kind of scary, man. So I keep mine on the ground, try to plant them. I try to like puff out my chest a little bit so I don't have to go as far too, but it's nowhere near like, you know, those people who are like super arched back. I got really scared that I was gonna fail on the last one, so I found a guy. It's Blake. You guys all met Blake on the shoe video. Say hi, Blake.
Hey.
Yeah, good stuff. He's gonna spot me and make sure I don't die. All right, this is 295. I don't know how much that is in kilos. That's 120, 140, 135 kilos-ish, plus or minus 5, 10 kilos. I don't know. All right, let's go for it. I guess I'll just let you know, like if I, if it's on my chest. Yeah.
Come on, up, come on. Yeah.
That was really heavy. How much can you bench press, do you think? Do you know?
I don't know. It's been a while since I have benched a lot, but last time I did it, I hadn't done it in a while, and I was pleasantly surprised with what I was doing. So.
Nice. Do you think benching benefits climbers?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's definitely going to help your chest be super strong, and so yeah, I think it's very beneficial.
Sweet. You heard it from the expert.